If you've ever wondered whether or not you should save for the emergency fund or pay off debt, watch this. Always, always, always start with your emergency fund. If you're still in debt, aim for an emergency fund of 2 to 3 months of living expenses. Once you become debt-free, aim for an emergency fund of 6 months of living expenses or more. The emergency fund is there to keep you from using debt and keep you from growing any existing debt. While you're building 2 to 3 months of living expenses into that emergency fund, make minimum payments on all the debt. And I'm sure you're thinking, but making minimums on my debt right now is just really, really scary. Can't I do both? And you could do both, but it's going to slow down your progress. Imagine trying to put maybe $100 towards the emergency fund and $100 extra towards the debt, and then your car breaks down, or you lose a job, or a medical emergency happens. You'd have to completely deplete your emergency fund and potentially put more on your credit card, which only adds to your existing debt. You might also be asking, why 2 to 3 months? That's because $1,000 in an emergency fund is simply not enough. 2 to 3 months of living expenses is great coverage because it can give you enough runway in case you were to lose the job and have enough for most major emergencies such as a car repair, your phone gets broken, the furnace goes out, etc. You might also be asking, where should I keep this money for the emergency fund? It should be kept inside an account that is liquid and easily accessible. Many times this looks like a savings account, but even better than a traditional savings account or money market account is a high yield savings account. A high yield savings account typically earns more interest than traditional savings accounts because there's not any overhead expenses like a brick and mortar location, a physical location, thus passing along the cost savings to their customers in the form of interest. If your bank is currently charging you less than 1%, run, don't walk, to open up your high yield savings account. The biggest offenders of those charging little to no interest include Chase, USAA, Navy Federal, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. If you are banking with any of these banks, get out now and go transfer to a high yield savings account. Banks like Ally, Capital One, Aspiration, Synchrony, Wealthfront are all earning over 3% on high yield savings accounts. Do yourself a favor, open these accounts today to get your emergency fund built up. If you learned something new, give this video a like and share with a friend.